Hi everyone, welcome back to Quest for Literature. Today we are going to see the literary form satire. Before getting into the video, if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, do subscribe, click on the bell icon and enable all options so that you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. There is no set form for satire. Same as idyll. We had already seen idyll. If you have not yet watched that video, I will add the link in the I button. And you can see satire in both poetry and in prose form. The verse satires can be an ode, an elegy, a ballad. Novel may be written more as a satire than as a story. The story remains popular where its satirical base is almost forgotten. The best example for this is Cervantes' Don Quixote and Swift's Gulliver's Travel. Satires on contemporary follies remain fresh even when the conditions they mocked have vanished. Now, let's see the origin and meaning of the literary form satire. It is of classical origin. The plays of Aristophanes are masterpieces in this form. The chief exponents of satire in Latin literature are Horace, Persius, and Juvenal. Imitations These people has been imitated all over Europe during and after Renaissance. They set the model for the Elizabethans and the Augustan satire in England. Etymologically, satire means unpolished verse, and that is the characteristics of satire in English literature. Then satire is defined as a literary composition whose principal aim is to ridicule follies or vice. It's a light form of composition intended to keep the reader in good humor even when it is at its casting. Dryden says that the true end of a satire is the amendment of vices by correction. And the notable satires in English poetry are Absalom and Achitophel, Macflecknoe by Dryden, Dunside by Pope, and Vision of Judgment by Byron. Let's see the essentials of a good satire. A good satire should be inspired by a personal grievance or a passion to reform. And it should be an attack on a person or group of persons or social evil or follies. This is a light form of literature hovering at times on the confines of burlesque and intended to ridicule, not to abuse. It may often be bitter. It hates the sin and not the sinner. Good satire should be more playful than hurtful. Pope shows himself waspish, venomous, and malignant. Satirists should not mince matter, and it should be forceful and outspoken. And a good satire should be like an arrow which takes the shortest routes to its target. It must be terse and concise. Prolixity destroys its effect. The admirable medium of a satire is heroic couplet. The heroic couplet makes a satire to be easy narrative, forceful expression, swift strokes of wit. Dryden and Pope use heroic couplet with its amazing skill. Byron handled it vigorously. Now, let's see the subject of the satire. A satirist's trade is censure. He condemns whatever he does not approve. In each age, it has its own set of vices to ridicule. Like drama holds the mirror up to nature, lashes out contemporary follies and foibles. Chaucer and Langland, they attack corruption in the church, dishonesty on the part of traders and men of law. The Elizabethans, they talk against the courtiers, the Puritans, and dishonest tailor. When it comes to Dryden and Pope, they take satire as something personal. They write personal satire against men than manners. The age they lived was faithfully reflected in their works. And it was an age of privilege, ceremony, artificiality, bitter political rivalry, controversies, etc. These you can see in the works of Rape of Lock by Pope, Essays of Edison, and works of Swift. In the beginning of the 19th century, Byron attacked lake poets, Scott reviewers, the waltz, the king, and even the whole society. When it comes to the Victorian era, it is an era of a great period of verse satires that appears in newspapers and periodicals. And during that time, newspapers and periodicals were enormous in numbers and they tend to be brief. Lengthy works in verse are very rare. Satire expresses itself in contemporary novel and drama. Personal attack has gone out of fashion, and the subject of the satire remain as the social conditions and problem and every aspect of modern civilization. Those you can see in the works of George Bernard Shaw. The plays of George Bernard Shaw were the best example of satire with wide variety of subject. That's the end of today's video. Thank you all for listening. Till the time we meet next, stay tuned to Quest for Literature. Keep reading and know the world.